Good afternoon, Honors Algebra. This is the lesson for Monday, November 7th. All right, I'm really proud of the job you guys are doing. People are coming in with questions. You're getting help from each other. I think this is going to pay off in the long run. You guys are going to retain this stuff much longer than my students of recent pasts. All right, let's see. Let's review really quickly. We know how to graph an equation when it's in this form, right? Slope y-intercept, that's form is called. And we know that the m is the slope and that the b is the y-intercept. All right, so when we go to graph an equation, let's say we have this equation here, y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. We remember that first, to be in slope y-intercept form, the y must be alone. The coefficient on x, the negative 2/3 in this case, is our slope. And the 1, the positive 1, is our y-intercept. It's the place where the line will cross the y-axis. So if I go to graph this, hold on, let me get some graph paper. Okay, there's my graph paper. So I will plot the point 0, 1 because that is my y-intercept. And I'll do it in green since my equation is in green. There we go. And then my slope is negative 2/3. Remember, I could do negative 2 over positive 3, or I could do 2 over negative 3. It does not matter which one. Just can't change both signs. They're both not negative because that would turn into a positive fraction. So I will go down 2. Let me infinitely clone him. I'll go down 1, 2, and then I'll go right 1, 2, 3. From that same point, that new point, I can go down 2, right 1, 2, 3. From the original, the y-intercept point, I could go up 2, back 1, 2, 3. From that new point, I could go up 1, 2, back 1, 2, 3. And notice all 5 of those points appear to be collinear. They are all on the same line. I will try to draw that line in the best I can. That, of course, is not a line. Our lines need to be solid. Very important. Our lines need to begin and end with arrows. Otherwise, they are not lines. And I'll make it a little thinner so it shows up. All right. That's how you graph according to slope y-intercept form. Now, today we're going to learn a new method because sometimes, believe it or not, as easy as this is, sometimes it's easier to graph it in a different form. Today we're going to graph using the intercept method. So what that really means is we're going to find the x-intercept, we're going to find the y-intercept, and because we have those 2 points, we'll be able to draw a line. All right. Now, if you remember in class today, we talked about what is true about a y-intercept. A y-intercept must have, oh, not hacks, pardon me, have an x-coordinate of 0. 0. To be a y-intercept means I am on the y-axis. Name any point on the y-axis, and you will always have to say 0 and then another number. 0, 0 is a y-intercept, or on the y-axis. 0, 1 is on the y-axis. 0, negative 55 is on the y-axis. 0 and then a number means you're on the y-axis. All right, to do the x-intercept, I must have my y-coordinate equals 0. If I'm on the x-axis, the point will always be 5, 0, negative 3, 0, 12, 0. It will be a number followed by a 0. Okay, so let's say I have an equation like this. Pardon me, let's see if I can keep that there. All right, and here is the equation I wish to graph. It will be 4x minus 5y equals 20. Okay, and I'm going to graph that, so I'm going to need a sheet of graph paper. There we go. And I can scroll down a little bit. And then I will lock that in place. All right. Well, I need to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Now notice I am not in slope y-intercept form. How do I know? Because my y is not alone. I could take the trouble to get y alone, subtract 4x from each side, and then divide through by 5. But in this case, it might be easier if I simply made a t-table and I plugged 0 in for x. This will get me the y-intercept. And then after I figure that out, I'm going to plug 0 in for y, and this will tell me the x-intercept. Okay, well, how am I going to do that? First of all, let's put 0 in for x. I'll take my original equation, 4 times 0 minus 5y equals 20. I know that this turns into 0, so my equation is now 5y equals 20. I'll divide each side by -5, and y will equal -4. I know the y-intercept occurs at 0, -4, and I will go ahead and plot that. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. There's my y-intercept. To find the x-intercept, I'm going to do the same thing, except this time I'm going to plug 0 in for y. Yeah, it's that easy. I'm going to take 4x minus 5 times 0 equal 20. I know that this will turn to 0. I will be left with 4x equals 20. I'll divide each side by 4. X will equal 5. Therefore, my x-intercept occurs at 5, 0. I could go over to my graph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the x-axis. I should probably make that a red point, only because I was doing the problem in red. And now I have my 2 large points, and I can draw my line. If I feel the need for a third point, I could just count my slope up. I'll call this point A, point B, up from A, 1, 2, 3, 4, right to B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could go from B up 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is a new point to help me draw my line. I could also go down from A, 1, 2, 3, 4, left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I need to. I don't have to, but it just helps me draw a prettier line. So there we go. And I'll make it go a little bit longer. And I will put an arrowhead on the end, and I'll leave it black because it's made up of a lot of different colors. Okay, that's how we do it. We graph by intercepts. We plug 0 in for x, and then we plug 0 in for y. All right, let me check my time here. Okay, to graph this equation using the intercept method, I'll make a t-table. I'll plug 0 in for x, get out the value, plug in 0 for y. All right, when I plug 0 in for x, my equation is going to become 3y equals 12. Dividing by 3, y will equal 4. You might be saying, why didn't I write down 0 times x? I didn't write it down because I know that that's going to turn to 0. 0, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'll plug 0 in for y now. When I plug 0 in for y, the 3y becomes 0, so my equation becomes 6x equals 12, and most of you can just look at it and say, hey, Mr. Lawrence, x must be 2. I will plot the point 1, 2, 0 right there, and I'm going to be ready to graph. Hold on one second. And there we go. There's my line. That's how easy this is. Tomorrow we'll get some practice with it. If you need to watch the video again, please feel free to do so. All right, Mr. Lawrence, signing off.